Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today's lecture will be about learning listening skills. Learning listening skills. This is one of the most important, and for me, it is the most important skill in English language and in any language, because without listening, no one can learn languages. Okay, without listening, no one can speak the language. And this is why it's for me the most important listening. I believe for most of those teachers of languages, okay, as the most important skill, which is listening. Through listening we learn how to speak the language, okay, which is the main purpose for many learners of English language, that is to speak. So the objective, before starting the lecture, I will discuss the objectives with you. So in Arabic we said أهداف المحاضرة. The objectives for learning listening skills encompass various goals aimed at developing effectively listening abilities. Here are some key objectives for learning listening skills. Comprehension. The first is comprehension. That's understanding. Enhance the ability to understand spoken English or spoken language. Here, of course, we discuss English. Spoken language accurately and efficiently across different contexts, accents, and speech speeds. That's fluency. Retention, which is to improve the capacity to remember and retain information obtained through listening, including key details, main ideas, and supporting points or ideas as well. Discrimination, that is to develop the skills to distinguish. This is discrimination, to distinguish between different sounds, words, phrases, and intonations. Sometimes, we have to learn what that is the pronunciation. And when we talk about pronunciation, we deal with different sounds, different pronunciation, words, phrases, stress, and intonations as well, leading to improved clarity and understanding in communication. Vocabulary expansion, of course, one of the most important, also aspects of learning the skills, that is, we enrich our vocabulary. That is in order to increase vocabulary by being exposure, let's say, to new words, expressions, idiomatic phrases, and contextual usage through listening activities, of course. Another also objective, which is critical thinking, to foster critical thinking skills by analyzing, evaluating, and interpreting spoken information, identifying main points, supporting evidence, and underlying messages. Another, that is note taking, which is important, especially in taking the exams, tests, and listening tests as well. Note taking, enhanced note taking abilities during listening tasks, lectures, presentations, or discussions, tests, of course, capturing essential information, ideas, and key concepts. Culture awareness, of course, that is to gain insights into cultural nuances, customs, values, and perspectives through exposure to authentic spoken language in different cultural contexts. Another also aspect or goal, interactive communication. With learning listening, of course, we learn how to interact, how to communicate with people, developing or interactive listening skills for effective participation in conversations, interviews, meetings, and collaborative activities, including active listening, asking clarifying questions, and responding appropriately. Adaptability is another also goal, to improve adaptability to various listening situations such as formal speeches, informal conversations, interviews, podcasts, lectures, and audio materials in different formats. Another also, feedback processing. Learn to process feedback received through listening, including constructive criticism, instructions, feedback on performance, and feedback in academic or professional settings. These objectives collectively aim to equip learners with the necessary skills and strategies to become proficient listener, capable of comprehending, analyzing, and engaging with spoken language effectively in diverse personal, academic, professional, and social contexts. Now, dealing or going to key terms that are going to be discussed in this lecture. Of course, we'll discuss here that past simple tense refers to one of these key terms, of course. Past simple tense refers to the tense used to describe completed actions, habits, or states that occurred at a specific point in the past. Active listening, active, like listening, comprehension, of course, and strategies. Also, like note taking. These are, of course, other, let's say, key terms or expressions that we are going to discuss. Note taking, active engagement, vocabulary expansion, critical listening, feedback processing, contextual in understanding, authentic listening materials, listening task as well. These, of course, will be discussed, inshallah, through our lecture today. Now, to introduce this, of course, first I want to welcome you after this introduction, okay? And today's lecture, we are going to master effective listening skills, inshallah. Listening, as you know, is a fundamental aspect of communication and plays a crucial role, a very important role in our daily interactions, academic pursuits, professional endeavors, and personal relationships as well. In this lecture, we will explore the key principles, strategies, and techniques that contribute to becoming a proficient listener. Effective listening goes beyond simply hearing words. It involves actively engaging with spoken language, understanding nuances, processing information, and responding appropriately to others. Whether in academic settings, social interactions, professional environments, or personal conversations, that is, honing your listening skills can lead to clearer communication, deeper connections, improved comprehension, and enhanced, let's say, over communication effectiveness. Throughout this lecture, inshallah, we will delve into various aspects of listening, including comprehension strategies, active engagement techniques, note taking methods, critical listening approaches, feedback processing, and creating a conductive listening environment. By understanding these concepts and applying them in your daily interactions, you can become a more attentive, empathetic, and successful listener. So now let's start this journey to master effective listening skills and unlock the power of attentive and mindful communication of this skill. The main aspects or topics that we are going to deal with here, the first one is active listening strategies. As you know, that active listening is a fundamental skill that involves fully engaging with the spoken language to understand, interpret, and respond effectively. Here are some key strategies and techniques for active listening. These will help you how to become an active listener, that is to say. The first is maintaining focus. That is keeping focus. Active listeners maintain concentration on the speaker, avoiding distractions and giving undivided attention. For instance, in the classroom setting, like this class, for example, a student maintains eye contact with the teacher, nods to show understanding, and refrains from using electronic devices during the lecture. Imagine you are in a lecture hall listening to a professor discuss a complex topic. Active listening involves maintaining focus by avoiding distractions such as checking your phone or doodling, and actively engaging with the material by taking notes, asking questions, and nodding to show understanding. This is very important because through listening, you can't be distracted. You have to focus more. The more you focus, the better listener you will be. Okay. The second, also, we have paraphrasing and summarizing. Paraphrasing and summarizing, that is, jot notes with, of course, paraphrase or to summarizing the information. Effective listeners use paraphrasing and summarizing techniques to demonstrate understanding and clarify information. For example, in a meeting, a participant might say, "So, what you are saying in that we need to prioritize this project over others due to its urgency." During a group discussion, one participant explains their perspective on a current event. An active listener might respond, of course, by paraphrasing what they heard saying. So, if I understand correctly, you are saying that economic factors played a significant role in the outcome. So, this is one, let's say, activity. Okay, that is how we paraphrase. Okay, the information that we hear from others in listening tasks, of course. Asking, clarifying, asking clarifying questions. Of course, that is one of also the ways that we learn to through listening, or that is listening skills, is to ask and answer questions. So, asking clarifying questions, active listeners ask relevant and clarifying questions to seek additional information or clarification. For instance, during a conversation about a complex topic, a listener might ask, could you explain that concept in simpler terms? In a business meeting, a colleague presents a proposal with technical jargon. An active listener might ask, could you clarify what you mean by ROI for those who may not be familiar with the term? So this is also one of that is ideas that you can do, okay? To ask questions and to clarify, these types of questions. Reflecting emotions. Yeah. Skilled listeners reflect and acknowledge the speaker's emotion by using empathetic statements. For example, in a counseling session, a counselor might say, it sounds like you are feeling overwhelmed by the workload. In another counseling, we can say session, a client expresses frustration with a challenging situation. The counselor actively listens and reflects the client's emotion, saying, it sounds like you are feeling overwhelmed by the workload and pressure. So we have two different, of course, sentences, although related, depending on the, let's say, feeling, okay, that you have towards the speaker, let's say. Avoiding interruptions. In order, of course, here, active listeners avoid interrupting the speaker and allow them to express their thoughts fully before responding. And this is one of the points that we should do, and we should, of course, make in our contact with others. That is, sometimes when someone speaks, we should listen. Then, after finishing his or her speech, we can respond and or answer accordingly. This practice demonstrates respect and encourages open communication. Yes, this is one of the good manners, by the way, that is to listen. Okay, and it is one of the most important, by the way, good manners, that is to listen to people, then you can respond. That's not to interrupt speakers. During a team brainstorming session, one team member is sharing their ideas. Active listeners refrain from interrupting and wait for the speaker to finish before offering input or feedback. Proven benefits of active listening. This is another point that we, to discuss here. Proven benefits of active listening enhances understanding and retention of information, also fosters better relationships and trust in interpersonal interactions, reduces misunderstandings and conflicts, improves problem solving and decision making skills. This is also that is important for not interrupting people to discuss, let's say, or to understand ideas, then we can respond. So it's good to do all these points or to follow them. Topic 2, that is here we'll deal with the note-taking strategies. Note-taking as a strategy is a crucial skill, a very important skill that helps listeners organize and retain, let's say, important information from spoken language. Effective note-taking strategies include using abbreviations and symbols, utilizing abbreviations, symbols, and shorthand helps condense information and capture key points effectively. For example, we can using wa for with, or let's say just sound for highlighting important points. While listening to a lecture, a student uses symbols or sometimes, let's say, using certain sounds, okay, expressing certain sounds for important points, for example, like huwa for with, and let's say this an arrow, let's say, for indicating relationships between concepts. Creating structured notes as well. Structuring notes with headings, bullet points, and numbered lists organizes information logically and facilitates review. Yeah, this is important to when you listen to someone and you just maybe jot down notes, or write the important words that help you understand the speaking, or the person who is speaking. For instance, dividing notes into main ideas, supporting details, and examples. In a seminar, for example, a participant takes structured notes with heading like key concepts, examples, implications, and questions for discussion. Or, of course, this is all to organize information effectively. Active listening for keywords. Also, sometimes we write keywords to follow, let's say, the information presented by the speaker. So, active listening for keywords. Actively listening for keywords and key phrases helps identify essential information to include in notes. For example, noting down dates, names, definitions, and significant terms. All these are important. During a podcast on financial planning, a listener actively notes down keywords such as investment strategies, risk management, diversification, and long term goals to capture essential topics related to the topic discussed by the speaker. Another point, using visual aids. Incorporating visual aids such as diagrams, charts, or illustrations in note can enhance understanding and retention of complex information. Visual representations complement textual notes effectively. While watching an educational video, a viewer takes notes using diagrams, flowcharts, and illustrations to supplement textual information and aid understanding. Reviewing, also point five here, reviewing and summarizing. Some related to paraphrasing, but it's a that's to end up some information. Periodically reviewing and summarizing notes after a listening session helps reinforce learning, clarify concepts, and identify areas of further studies or clarification. After attending a workshop, a participant reviews their notes, highlights key points, and summarizes the main takeaways to reinforce learning and retention. Proven benefits of note taking. We, of course, that is, let's see what benefits that can be made of note taking. Improves retention and recall of information, facilitates organization and synthesis of complex ideas, enhances active engagement and concentration during listening activities or tasks, supports effective studying and preparation for assessment. So, this is about topic two. Topic three now, it's about developing critical listening skills. How to develop critical listening skills. As you know, critical listening involves analyzing, evaluating, and interpreting spoken information to discern meaning, identify biases, and assess credibility. Key strategies for developing critical listening skills include, we have some points. First, analyzing arguments. Critical listeners analyze the structure of evidence and reasoning behind arguments presented in spoken language. They assess the logic, coherence, and validity of the speaker's claims. The discussion, that is to say. In a debate, listeners critically analyze arguments presented by each side, assessing the logic, evidence, and reasoning behind the claims made. Um, Another point, which is here, identifying bias and assumptions. Skilled listeners identify biases, assumptions and stereotypes embedded in spoken messages. They critically evaluate the speaker's perspective and consider alternative viewpoints. During a political speech, critical listeners, for example, recognize and evaluate biases, assumptions, and rhetorical strategies used by the speaker to persuade the audience. Evaluating evidence, also another point. Critical listeners evaluate the quality and relevance of evidence presented by the speaker. They assess the credibility of sources, accuracy of information, and consistency of arguments. While listening to a scientific presentation, listeners evaluate the quality and reliability of evidence presented, considering factors such as sample size, methodology, peer reviewed sources, instruments, so on and so forth. Recognizing persuasive techniques, and is another point. Here we can say skilled listeners recognize persuasive techniques such as emotional appeals, loaded language, and rhetorical devices used by speakers to influence opinions or behaviors. In a marketing webinar, critical listeners identify persuasive techniques such as testimonials, emotional appeals, and social proof used to influence consumer behavior. Another point as well related to this, that is engaging in reflective listening. Engaging in reflective listening. Critical listeners, of course, engage in reflective listening by reflecting on their own biases, assumptions, and reactions to spoken messages. They strive for objectivity and open mindedness in their listening approach. During a cultural diversity training session, participants engage in reflective listening, acknowledging their own biases, cultural assumptions, and stereotypes, and actively seeking to understand diverse perspective. Proven benefits of critical listening, as well as this topic that we discuss. We have some benefits like enhances analytical thinking and problem solving skills. Another also promotes informed decision making and critical thinking abilities, helps identify misinformation, logical fallacies, and depictive tactics, fosters a deeper understanding of complex issues and diverse perspectives. By incorporating active listening strategies, effective note taking techniques, and critical listening skills, if individuals can significantly improve their overall listening proficiency, leading to better communication, enhanced learning outcomes, and stronger analytical abilities in various personal, academic, and professional contexts. The examples given above demonstrate how actively listening, effectively note-taking, critical listening skills are applied in various contexts, from academic settings to professional environments and personal interactions. By practicing these strategies and techniques, individuals can enhance their listening proficiency, improve comprehension, and become more effective communicators. To sum up, or the summary, let's say, of this lecture, we can say listening skills are fundamental to effective communication and play a vital role, a very important role in various aspects of life, including education, work, relationships, and personal developments. Here are, of course, key points: underscoring the significance of learning listening skills. We have, of course, enhanced understanding for effective listening leads to a better understanding of spoken information, ideas, instructions, and messages. It allows individuals to grasp nuances, subtitles, and context, leading to clearer comprehension and reduced misunderstandings. Also, improved communication to develop strong listening skills enhances overall communication abilities. Active listening promotes empathy, rapport, and mutual understanding in conversations, interactions, and collaborations, fostering positive relationships and productive dialogue. In addition, of course, now critical thinking, listening skills are closely linked to critical thinking abilities. By analyzing, evaluating, and interpreting spoken content, individuals can assess arguments, identify biases, discern credibility, and make informed decisions based on evidence and logic. Effective learning, of course, in educational settings. Proficient listening facilitates effective learning and academic success. Students who listen attentively, okay, in lectures, discussions, and multimedia presentations retain information better. That the more you listen, the better you will be. Engage, of course, actively in classes and perform well in assessments. Problem solving, of course, we can say strong listening skills are essential for problem solving and decision making. Active listeners gather relevant information, seek clarification when needed, consider diverse perspectives, and collaborate effectively to address challenges and achieve goals. Empathy and relationships as well. Listening with empathy fosters deeper connections, empathy and trust in interpersonal relationships, understanding others' perspectives, feelings, and experiences through attentive listening promotes empathy, compassion, and meaningful communication. Career advancement, of course, as we know, this is a very important point that we need. That listening is also important to, to help us in our career advancement. Effective listening is a valuable professional skill sought by employers across industries. Active listeners excel in roles requiring client communication, teamwork, leadership, negotiation, customer service, and conflict resolution, contributing to career success and advancement. Self-development, we can say as well. Personal development, learning listening skills contributes to personal growth and self-awareness. Reflective listening helps, of course, individuals gain insight into their own communication patterns, strengths, areas for improvement, and interpersonal dynamics, leading to enhanced self-confidence and communication competence. In conclusion, that is, mastering listening skills is essential for successful communication, learning critical thinking, empathy, and professional growth. By improving listening skills, okay, individuals can navigate diverse social contexts, collaborate effectively, build strong relationships, and achieve their personal and professional goals. That's it for today. Thank you, and assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.